Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. A special prosecutor has been appointed in St. Lucia. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Thursday, 23rd November 2023, brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Details when we return.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Opposition parliamentarians are waiting to see if investigations into allegations of corruption and malfeasance among public officials will not be conducted in a fair and impartial manner. This after the Office of the Prime Minister on Monday announced the long-awaited appointment of a special prosecutor. The individual has been identified as Attorney Robert Innocent. Zane Romulus of the DBS News World reports.
On Monday, the Office of the Prime Minister announced that Attorney-at-Law Robert Innocent had filled the position of Special Prosecutor. His appointment comes more than a year after legislation was introduced to guide the duties of this office. The appointment of a Special Prosecutor to probe corruption within the public sector and the political class was one of St. Lucia Labour Party's most talked about campaign promises. However, when pressed about it ahead of Tuesday's parliamentary meeting, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre was reserved in his response.
The Judicial and Legal Commission appointed a special prosecutor.
Are you happy with
I don't know. What I know is that he went through a process of scrutiny and he was appointed by the Judicial and Legal Services Commission.
So do you think now with this special prosecutor there, we could see incidental occurrences of corruption?
I will expect the special prosecutor to do his job.
Without bias?
His job?
His job is, according to the legislation, he is to look into acts of corruption and malfeasance.
Opposition parliamentarians have reacted to the news of the appointment, while the leader of the opposition, Alan Shastney, has commended any measure to strengthen the processes to hold those in public office to account. He has expressed misgivings about how the duties of this special counsel will be carried out.
I have no idea. I don't know if you can enlighten me as to what the job description, the agenda is. If in fact the agenda is for justice, then there should be no agenda, right? And that's why I'm saying to you that is he going to oversee the current investigations that are taking place? So, for instance, Rovergate, and also the account that was opened by Jafali. I know that matter has been investigated. I know that there is evidence as to what transpired. So I don't know if Mr. Innocent is going to continue those investigations and prepare them for the court, but he would have to do so in support and in alignment with the DPP, because the DPP is the only person that can approve any level of prosecution.
Member of Parliament for Choiseul Saltibus, Bradley Felix, expressed similar sentiment.
I wish him all the best, and there's a lot of work to be done there. I'm hoping that he will, address past and current ongoing investigations.
Do you believe that his appointment is going to be a witch hunt to come behind the real debate?
We'll wait and see. I think it was a promise the current government has made to the population. So let's see where that leads.
Do you think you'll be one of them that will be
whatever comes my way, I will address it when the time comes. But I have no fear with regards to public prosecution, special prosecutor director, nothing when it comes to that.
Prime Minister Pierre has previously stated that the decision to appoint a special prosecutor was not motivated by a desire for revenge, despite attributing the decision to appoint one to actions taken by the previous administration. He has made it clear that all public officers, including himself and members of his administration, are subject to scrutiny. For the DBS News World, I am Zain Romulus.
Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Philip Davis, expresses confidence in by-election win. ZNS News has more.
Progressive Liberal Party leader, Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, confident on clinching the West Grand Bahama and Bimini seat. Davis appeals to voters to make the right choice.
There's no reason for the people of Western and Grand Bahama to vote for a voice in opposition. What would that do for them? There's 3 more years left in this term. Let us continue the work that we started. Let us see what else could happen in the next 3 years. Have someone around the table with us to ensure that their cries are heard, their aspirations could be met, and it will be met with assurance that there's someone who will be speaking at all times to them. You need a voice in opposition.
Meanwhile, Bahamas' Prime Minister Davis shares his concerns on crime in the country.
The reported cases of serious crimes not sitting well with the Prime Minister, who this past weekend expressed concern about the number of people on bail for such matters.
You can say that crime is trending down, but unfortunately we still have these retaliatory killings. We know that most of the recent murders relate to persons who are out on bail, and again, that's part of our challenge. If persons going on bail, it tends to become a death sentence, and whatever efforts, despite the efforts of our law enforcement agencies, we have not been able to curtail that. The way to curtail it is perhaps to let them remain in custody until the trial can be heard. And again, that's another challenge we have, expediting these trials. One of the persons who were killed has been on bail from 2017 for murder and still has not been tried. And so there are other systemic issues that we're addressing to ensure that we continue this fight against crime.
There is reaction to the Prime Minister's news conference from the leader of the National Transformation Alliance. Former top cop Gary Griffith says Prime Minister Keith Rowley is to blame for the present crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago.
So Keith Rowley, you need to accept responsibility. It is because of your ego and your arrogance that the country is in the situation it is in. You cannot swallow your ego, swallow your pride, and do what is right for the country. So the country must continue to drown in blood because of the failure of you, Keith Rowley, and the incompetence of your government to provide citizens with their fundamental right of safety and security.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
NCB Financial Group says separation package for former CEO and deputy CEO settled. Javon Keys of TVJ News reports.
Now, the NCB Financial Group says while the severance packages for the 2 former senior executives will be a hefty cost, it is nowhere near the multi-billion-dollar sum that has been reported. Well, here's more from the interview I did with NCB Financial Group Chairman Michael Lee Chin. $13.8 billion is the round figure many have been hearing as discussions took place on what the severance package for the former CEO of NCB Financial Group Patrick Hilton and former Deputy CEO Dennis Cohen would look like. The sum is linked to 95.1 million shares surrendered by the men in July 2021, which were at the time valued at that sum. Chairman of the NCB Financial Group Michael Lee Chin says what the men will receive is certainly less than that.
I can assure you it's nowhere near 13 billion. That was a number that was fantasy, and it made good press. But the reality is, it's nowhere near 13 billion.
Could you give us a closer ballpark?
And it will be disclosed on Tuesday when we report our annual report. The notes, it will be contained in the notes, but you can infer by going between the notes and the financial statement itself, and you'll be able to get a ballpark.
Meanwhile, the interim CEO of the group, Robert Almeida, explained why the company said the costs associated with the separation would have a material impact on the fourth quarter results.
The whole effect of it will all be taken in one quarter. So that's the main point, which is the entire impact will be recorded in the one quarter. And so therefore it materially impacts the financial performance of the company in that one quarter with the non-recurring expenses.
Both men officially resigned from their posts on November 13. They also stepped down from boards associated with the group, including Guardian. Looking at overall cost savings at the group, Mr. Almeida said the company has already shaved off more than $8 billion.
Customer experience is improved when things go right. And if everything goes right, expenses also go down. So these are like two things that actually go hand in hand. And I would say we did some very discreet things right up front that would have saved that right now we'd be north of about $8 billion in annual recurring. And now we'll start to see the pure operational savings and improvements start to kick in from the implementations of some of the technology enhancements.
Earlier this year, NCB Financial Group announced it was looking to cut billions of dollars in costs as the company took on new senior management. In the last few months, the group has cut a number of senior managers and restructured the operations of its digital wallet platform, Link.
And now for a regional roundup with Renata Burnett of HGP Nightly News out of Guyana.
We begin with news from the Dominican Republic. At least 9 people died when a concrete wall collapsed in one of the tunnels in the busy avenue in Santo Domingo on Saturday, as a result of heavy rains and floods caused by the passage of a tropical disturbance that has been battering the west of the Caribbean. The wall, which is part of the infrastructure built to speed up traffic in the National District, collapsed last Saturday afternoon when there were still many cars circulating despite alerts issued by emergency agencies. Damaged pipes poured water into the tunnel, making rescue more difficult. We recovered about 9 bodies in that area. Of these, 5 were male and 4 were female. Delphin Rodriguez, Deputy Director of Civil Defense Operations, said. The concrete wall crushed several of the vehicles circulating at the time in the center of the Dominican Republic's capital, while floods swept away vehicles and drowned houses and people in the western part of the city. We tell you now that French authorities say several foreign nationals have appeared before a judge on charges of aggravated pimping and aiding individuals to remain in Martinique illegally. Pimping is the action or practice of controlling prostitutes and arranging clients for them, taking part of their earnings in return. A brief statement from the public prosecutor's office said those arrested are from St. Lucia, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and French nationals. The authorities said they had been carrying out the probe into the pimping ring since March, and that those arrested also face money laundering and violating drug laws. 5 of the 6 people charged were in pre-trial detention. According to a statement issued by the Office of the Public Prosecutor, it appeared that individuals were bringing in young women from Dominica and Haiti to exploit their prostitution and make substantial profits, estimated at 680,000 euros. Finally, in Trinidad, the brazenness of the country's gangsters claimed another life just meters away from a police base on Saturday night. 23-year-old Christian Sansabor was shot dead a stone's throw away from the Duncan Street police post. This killing is the 3rd in a week coming out of the ongoing gang rivalry said to be between the 6 and 7 gangs. Police reported that around 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, Sansabor was with 5 other individuals when gunmen approached them and opened fire. The killers then got back into a waiting white Nissan X-Trail parked outside the Duncan Street police post and escaped. The SUV was later found abandoned. Police recovered 1 rifle magazine with 28 rounds of ammunition and 55 spent shells at the scene. Police have labeled the killing as gang-related, although they have not identified Sansabor as being associated with any gang. I'm Renata Burnett.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength. we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's a service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.